Welcome to BioDry's training video. Here we will take a look at cleaning a bank drive-through lane. Step 1 is to assess the situation. Here we have a 2-lane concrete bank drive-through with one very heavy oil spot in the main lane. We will want to look for gum, loose debris, and any other standing material in the drive-through lane and address all of that as a portion of our service. Next step is to treat the main oil spot. Take a little bit of BioDry and sprinkle it down the center of the oil stain, and then we use a heavy-duty wire brush to clean and effectively scrape up the oil off of the spot and off of the concrete. This takes just a little bit of elbow grease and probably is one of the most time-consuming portions of the cleaning. Work the BioDry back and forth into the stain as much as possible down to the concrete surface. In this situation, we have a very dry and crusty oil spot that has not been cleaned in many years. It therefore needs a little heavier piece of equipment, a bladed scraper. As you can tell, this surface material has been on here for quite some time and needs to be scraped off initially in order to get down even to the concrete surface. If this was wet and moist, we would continue to work in BioDry with the wire brush. However, this surface material needs to be taken off first. Scrape off the entire spot until most of the surface oil is loose. Once the oil is loose and the crusty surface is loosened up off of the concrete, we can go back to using our wire brush. Again, if the oil was thick and gooey, we would need to add a little bit more BioDry in order to not gum up our wire brush. All of this material needs to be picked up and carried away. Be sure to scrape the surface down to the concrete. Our next step is to scrape off mold, mildew, gum, or any other standing debris. Pay attention to the cracks and crevices right next to the curbing. Since we are not pressure washing, it is very important that we remove any standing debris with the wire brush or the scraper. Take the extra time to remove anything that looks like it does not belong on the concrete. Paper clips, gum spots, mud, all of these things are on a bank drive-through lane. Next, take the heavy-duty scraper and scrape off as many of those round gum spots as possible. Once you remove most of these and have applied BioDry to the lane, they generally don't stick anymore, and the next time you scrub the surface, you can actually just kick them off. Collect the loose oil and any standing debris from the lane and pick it up and carry it away. Sweep off as much as possible so as we don't have to blow it out of the drive-through lane and leave it somewhere else. If you have to, use a dustpan and a small whisk broom to pick up any excess. Remove just as much as possible. The next step is to blow off all of the excess or any remaining loose material with a leaf blower. Handheld or backpack blowers are ideal for this kind of application. If there's any weeds or anything growing in the cracks or the caulking cracks of the lane, remove those as much as possible before the BioDry application. Blow off the entire surface, including the tops underneath the teller window and next to that ATM machine. Once in a while, you'll see something you've missed. Set the blower down, go back and take the wire brush and work that surface again if you need to. Now blow out the rest of the lane, and make sure you don't just blow it 2 or 3 feet outside of the lane. Blow it all the way off of the property if possible. The next step is to actually apply BioDry to the entire lane. Take BioDry and leave a nice lane of material down the center of this bank drive-through lane. It's better to use a little bit of BioDry and have to apply more later than to use too much and have to pick some up. With the fine flagged broom, now work the BioDry back and forth to cover the entire surface widthwise. Pay a little extra attention to the oil spot. If the oil is viscous and moist, you'll actually have to work the BioDry into it for a little longer time, or leave a little excess material on it to soak it up. Spread the BioDry so it covers the entire lane, widthways first, then lengthways. Back and forth 2 or 3 different times ensures BioDry gets into the pores of the concrete. Once you have a fairly even finish, the last step is actually to pull in the excess material off of where the tires are going to run through this drive-through lane. This helps avoid tracking, but it also leaves excess material in the center where that stain needs to be worked on with the BioDry. Again, here we go, pulling in the excess off of where the tires are going to run through that drive-through lane. Nice finished broom strokes down the length of the lane help to give a nice fresh look and a nice even look of the BioDry on the surface. The excess now is all in the center of the lane, and it actually needs to be left mostly on the oil spot. This helps keep the oil being cleaned long after you're gone, as well as any new oil that gets dropped onto it can get absorbed into the BioDry instead of soaking into the concrete and making the stain worse. And there you have it. The last swoosh stroke, and you have a nice clean drive-through lane.